Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Shadowverse. So they're doing a Code Geass anime crossover, as you may have seen on the title, with Shadowverse, which oddly kind of makes it feel like the Fortune's Hand card expansion part is not going away for any time soon. For at least like half a month to maybe a full month to maybe even up to 3 months. But all the crossover is, as it seems like it has been in the past, is that you have things you can buy with premium currency that would change the leaders into skins of these Code Geass characters. Code Geass being a, I would say, mid-2000s anime that's pretty good. Like, I put it in the top 100, certainly. Although you could certainly also put it in the category of one of those animes that's just so over the top that it would be a prime example right below Dragon Ball Z of why people who hate anime is that it's just so over the top of the story. The 4th anniversary buying of new tickets for this. I don't know if I'm going to get any more of these, so I need to just make a decision and use up these tickets because I'm afraid that the 4th anniversary is going to disappear. So, let's see. Arissa doesn't look like she's much different. Erica doesn't look like she's much different. I think we're going to go with Isabel first. I have 1 ticket. We'll do it. And that probably is the only ticket they ever intended for you to get, was buy 1 with a ticket, and then all of a sudden everything now changes to 500 crystals, or 2800 crystals, which that's not an equal discount really at all. I could use rupees to buy these Shadowverse characters, but I don't know why I would want to. In fact, I don't know why you'd want to buy any of this stuff. Frankly, it's fairly pointless premium skins. But there's no new sleeve, there's no new items. There are new cards in the form of that the Fortune's Hand now has this purchase, like 10 card pack bundle that would cost 1,000 crystals, 1,000 premium currency, but that's it. There's no tie-in as far as card expansions. I don't think any of these card expansions actually tie into any of the anime, so it's kind of funny. Like they're willing to cross over. I also heard, and I kind of think I believe this, that these temporary cards are mislabeled in English. That they basically mean that you get to keep the cards forever, you just cannot turn them back into temporary gems or turn them into vials to create other cards with. Which means there's a secondary market where you could potentially get a lot of the ultra highest rarity cards, which apparently the drop rate on these cards is like 1.5% in a card pack. So the temporary gems do seem to have quite a lot more use. I also found out, as I'm just learning more about this game, that about 3 months ago there was an anime that was launched. It is kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! In the sense that it is kids in kind of a Japanese style world in high school playing Shadowverse on their cell phones. So very, very much just a Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience. So yeah, here's her skin normally. Here's is what you can change it to.
You'll make a good test subject.
That's alright, fine. Like, it doesn't really mean anything at all. So, yeah. I also found out that Shadowverse is the most popular card game in Japan, so I chose rightly. The last thing they're doing are these quests, and we're going to just hop into these right now. Collect points, get rewards. Quest is a recurring mode where you challenge AI components and complete missions to collect and gain rewards. Harder difficulties give more rewards. So, and we will be playing against the Code Geass characters. Once per day, you can challenge Charles. He's like the big boss of Code Geass. Defeating him will reward more mission points than other opponents. You also have the option to fight Charles in a training match, but you won't receive any mission points for training. Okay. So, let's see. What details do we really need to do? That'll just open a web browser. I would like them not to do that in any game, where this will give us reward. So if we can get all 1600 between now and August 16th, we will get a card back, some packs, some more card backs. Maybe these aren't card backs, maybe these are cards that are animated. 150 rupees if you get up to 6,000, some more cards, 2 card packs if you get up to 9,000, a Black Knight's Flare, more card packs, and then at 1600 you get 1 Seer's Globe, so you know the Seer's Globe are pretty rare. And then quest missions are win 15 quest matches, defeat Cornelia, Suzaka, and Charles, evolve followers 30 times in quest matches, play followers 100 times in quest matches. In Cornelia specifically, you win a match within 10 turns, win a match using a pre-built deck, win a match after destroying 5 enemy followers. With Suzaka, win a match without playing a spell, destroy at least 3 Gelts, Gawains, Arthurs, and Lathams. Or Lathams. Win a match against Suzaka after he started a turn with 10 or less defense. And then Charles, win a match without restoring your leader's defense, win a match without using evolution points, win a match on the 10th turn, which would be kind of hard to do. So, yeah. Let's select our deck, and let's try a pre-built deck. Pre-built decks 1 versus default decks. They're actually giving us less opportunity here because they're only giving us the pre-built decks, the first pre-built deck. They're not giving us all the pre-built decks, which pre-built decks now I think are better than probably the default decks, which probably needs some work. So, what do I want to play? Well, let's just play this. Seems like you can play multiple times and try, so we'll just hop in here. I'm still getting wrecked, and this will be pretty much the entirety of the accountability section. I'm getting wrecked by my insomnia, by the heat of the summer sucking the energy out of me, and me playing the solo player content. I'm on to chapter 3. And at chapter 3, they stopped giving any rewards other than gold. So it does seem like I can pretty much just choose to skip actually doing the battles and just make this really long-running series, unfortunately, that's just going to be aired, where we just go through the main story, which oddly, the main story in the game of Shadowverse is not in any way the main story of the anime, which you would think you would just say, hey, let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone and try and have an animation team redo our main story for us, but then I guess that would not be a good advertisement for the card game, and that's really what the anime is just a advertisement for the game. So yeah, but so I can now just go through an entire leaders chapter for each of the episodes, and there's a naming problem certainly, where they both call the episodes chapters and the chapters chapters, which just confuses the issue. But it takes about an hour and a half to go through the story without playing any of the game at all. The story is getting better. Like there definitely is a argument there that they're writing the story better. Oops. I did not read that card well. I did not read that card well at all. Honestly, I didn't play that card well either. I heard a lot of people saying that Shadowverse actually is a really complex game with its evolution points, and that might be kind of where I'm dropping the ball mentally, so far as I'm still trying to learn how to play this game. Is like I may very well just be kind of failing to see and realize that it's like really important to evolve at specific times and evolve only specific characters. Let's see. Can't do anything else.
The sword.
And yeah, the strategy concept and the complexity argument does seem to hold some weight, because you wouldn't have such a balanced experience all the time, and I am definitely having a fairly balanced experience where
Seen a reaction like that.
Where I am kind of constantly losing around the 10th turn, and that seems like that is kind of fairly common. See, evolving that right now is probably not the best move. See. I'm playing the cards so close to the maximum level that I'm destroying cards because I'm overdrawing. But yeah, I'm managing to do like one episode, and the last episode I did of the main story, I was like, I can't even remember what I'm trying to reference. Like, I was trying to reference how in a structural way the Code Geass is kind of the opposite of Death Note, and I couldn't remember the name of Death Note.
Wait, that's it?
And I'm just like mentally failing and getting stuttery. If there's, I don't know if there's any other way to put it. All right.
I embrace all manner of spellcraft.
Let's see. This has Rush, so I should play this. There we go.
The wind blow.
Should I kill my guy with Rush or
Wait, that's it?
just play protectively?
This match is mine.
While I would say that the story in Chapter 3 of Shadowverse and the main story is better than the story that was being told in Chapter 1 and 2, it doesn't really tell you anything or teach you anything as far as the card game.
Unleash your heat.
Which that inherently becomes a problem in itself, is that you just kind of don't get it or don't know what you're supposed to be doing. This again is all followers. This one has Rush, which probably isn't a bad idea to put that there. This would draw 2 cards, which I don't really need to do. So I need to win in like the next 2 turns to get that challenge, and
Lose? Why? Never.
I don't think that we're
Conserving
going to
waters
inherently get to that
sustain
point. Although, let's see what this does.
ungrateful world will perish. Be destroyed.
Giving up? Why? Never.
This would do 2 damage, or it would be easier just to do this, and then this.
To ash. Me giving up? Why? Never.
And let's see, we've got a Rush guy,
Mend
and
your
8.
This ungrateful world will perish.
Like, wow. Apparently I didn't realize that there was an invocation card here that was gonna save the day. All I needed to do was just keep playing. Number of allied Great Nutria trees you've played that match. That was all I was shooting for the whole time and didn't realize it. Let's see. So that's going to reduce that to 5. And wow.
Mend your ways.
10th turn. 10th turn victory. Wow. Real surprise there. Real surprised.
That should do it.
So, yeah, win a match after destroying at least 5 enemy followers. When using a pre-built match, win a match within 10 turns. Okay. First time as a charm. So, I guess I'm not a beginner anymore. Let's see now if this is the same pre-built deck. Seems like it probably is. So the other thing I should mention as far as the accountability section is that I've been awake and asleep so much where I basically am taking like a 2 to 4 hour nap every day, and then waking up and then staying awake for maybe 6 hours, 6 to maybe 8 hours, and then I'm taking another 4 hour nap, and then another 6 to 8 hours, whatever numbers you would actually put together there to actually have that equal 24. But that does mean I have not been really checking the Twitter feed. So feels like there might have been some games that showed up on Steam that I just won't have much to talk about because I just won't have those tabs open. So, let's see, do I want to play this now? Do I want to wait? I think you played one now, just for good measure. So yeah. On top of that, there literally is just nothing happening in the video game world. Even the Ubisoft controversy seems to have kind of died down enough, at least for the moment. Perhaps Twitter itself is just running into some trouble. Because I wouldn't be surprised if we're hitting a situation where Twitter has never really been able to monetize itself, and then there was that big hack that happened, and so people may just be tired of looking at Twitter. In particular, the celebrities that were the lifeblood of Twitter may be getting tired of looking at Twitter. Deal 1 damage and then draw. Okay. So I do know like one YouTuber who you would probably describe as being more conservative. I don't know if you go straight up and call him right wing, but he definitely isn't part of the general left group. Has sworn to leave Twitter, although also this Twitter YouTuber is fairly attention seeking, so 1 damage to all followers, 2 damage to all followers. Alright, well, that will work.
Fire, unleash your heat.
Play that again. Do I want to evolve and attack something here? No.
Sky Knights, prepare for battle.
The guy in charge of YouTube gaming still posting pictures of his kid. It really shouldn't. Like,
Yes, I got two
it's like a 5-week-old baby, and out of respect to the baby that his own father's not giving him, I won't show it on stream, but the irony is one of the YouTube Twitter feeds just mentioned about not respecting the privacy of others, but people in America seem, and both particularly fathers, like parents, don't seem to realize that they shouldn't like immediately violate their baby's privacy. The technology will be there by the time these kids are grown up, to the point where you will be able to do a remarkable deep fake of a baby and age it up to the point where it looks like the age it should be now. But yeah, he has definitely changed his, what I would assume, public persona into all about his kid, and he really shouldn't do that. It's a lesson that everyone can learn, certainly. Let's see. We'll try that again. And let's try this one. Messages from Beyond. I may have just gotten really lucky with my hero selection, or I may have just gotten really lucky in general. I actually got very, very lucky in that last game.
Mother, father, come on!
僕はこの世界を変える。
I did hear that there will be a slight censorship in Persona 4 for the Korean version, a character named Rydo, spelled R-A-I-D-O-U, will not be appearing in the Korean version of that Persona game because he's wearing an Imperial officers during their World War II time, in which they were fighting and attacking lots of Asian countries, including Korea. So yeah, there's a lot of cultural sensitivities there with all the Asian countries hating each other, and particularly, kind of rightfully so, Japan for their crimes of their past. But it does kind of get down to just, at some point, nobody ever gets over anything in the grand scale, and wouldn't be surprised if we at some point hear Koreans screaming for reparations of some sort. It's probably too early to be using that card. That's a waste of card.
Alright, troops, get ready for war!
Suppose it is worth mentioning that I had never heard of that character Rydo from Persona 4 until a couple days ago. So no, that is not where I got my name from. I got my name from just randomly smashing a keyboard when I was young. So I have figured out how this fanfare works when gain the ability to evolve for 0 evolution points. It's only specifically for this card. So if you play it that way, you can then just immediately evolve. It's effectively the same as Evolve This Follower, with a slight difference in that that you are trying to,
Heretics deserve no mercy.
you're given an option versus being just forced to do it.
The underworld does not forgive.
This is interesting because it didn't change at any cost when it evolved. It's still a 3/3. It just has a Storm and a Leader Strike of reanimating 4, which let's see. I could destroy this guy and draw 2 cards now. That's probably what they wanted me to do with that.
Sky Knights, prepare for battle.
So let's just go through the news and
I can't be done yet.
let's see. And cover everything that did come out. I didn't even do a full cleanup of last stream. Okay. This. Then I can play this now and get a play point to play this, to then play this, to do this. Probably should have played this too. But actually, I guess I can do this and do this.
So this was the didn't go well.
Better strategy. So yeah, Gamma Sutra has an article here. Huge Games has acquired Bowland developer Double Star. I haven't heard of either one of these companies, and I think we talked about this on Monday. Let's see, oh, we got somebody on the chat. Ever since my phone started like dimming the screen regardless of me telling it specifically not to dim my screen, It's been really hard to see the chat. But yeah, we have Level by Level Gaming saying hello. Someone briefly
I'll show you.
mentioned one of my videos about
The world does not forgive.
how I thought I had gotten Resident Evil 4 to stop stuttering. At this point, I have like a new video card too, so I'm not sure
Back.
that I haven't actually, just by buying a new video card, fixed the micro stuttering issue on Resident Evil 4.
Darkness is lit by truth.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with my channel, frankly, because there's this weird situation now where I've been kind of forced into making a whole
I can't be done yet.
new long-running series to cover the main story of Shadowverse. So it's definitely taking away my focus from other things. Okay. See, some of the zombie. Some of the zombie.
Walk here.
See. Destroy a random enemy.
A violation.
My-
Yes,
My apologies.
Do I want to evolve this? It automatically evolved. This is gonna summon a
Be
lich.
afraid.
And finally, it comes to this.
Bring
But
honor
yeah,
in the name of this
there was always this constant need to try and record more footage, and then there's this constant issue with YouTube not really liking the fact that you're putting out more than one video per day, and punishing you effectively for that.
These are my weapons.
So this is gonna do, I think, 5 damage by evolving this.
Now fight like your life's
So
on the line.
this is the end.
But yeah, we've kind of boned it because
Next
you have to do
island.
this, you'd have to do this,
failed you.
and then let's see. Gains a shadow, summons a zombie when it dies. Summons another
If you
thing.
value your life, come no further.
See, this is the strategy. You want to get this leader ability that makes amulets that would do 2 damage to the hero. But it's not gonna happen.
You need your hatred to leave.
Because I'd still need to have played like 5 last word cards. And the AIs are not that dumb, so they're not gonna just decide to not attack you for no reason. Let's just keep bouncing around and we'll try everything. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article here. The Epic Games boss Tim Sweeney calls out Apple and Google for exploitative platform fees, which he's done this before. It's always worth remembering that Tim Sweeney and Epic own Fortnite. They want Fortnite on the Apple Store and the Google Store without giving much of a cut, if any cut, to Apple or Google, which it's a very debatable question as far as whether these companies deserve to get a cut running a store, because Apple and Google are making these whole operating systems, and they probably don't deserve to be in the same position, or at least they're smart enough to not be in the same position where Windows is, where Windows 10, now you effectively get it for free, and unless somebody is buying something through the Windows 10 store, which nobody is, when Microsoft is basically getting nothing from you at all, or they're not making any money. So which one do we want to give +2 to? Let's see. So yeah, there's some arguments there that Apple and Google kind of deserve their 30% cut because they're running the iOS operating system effectively for free. They're getting a very small license fee on that for the people. Now, also you could make the argument that this is really just a case of them hiding fees, or in the long run trying to make more money, Apple and Google, because if they simply charged an extra $50 for every license of Android or iOS, and cell phones were just $50 more, I think people would probably be forced to pay that much. But nobody likes that, certainly, and that has also created a situation where the consumer is not treated as well as you would like, as far as that, as far as battery life and specs. Phones battery life in particular, I think, could be better if there was another $50 put into it instead of putting it into the operating system. But I very much would say Tim Sweeney's in the wrong. He made these exact same argument when he made the Epic Store, and we've seen that the Epic Store really has not done anything to benefit the consumer. It's just split the PC gaming audience by some very small amount, and then it is mostly accomplished nothing else besides that. Like, I don't think it's actually succeeding in creating a new generation of people that are going to play on the Epic Games Store, because that's where Fortnite is. That would be my guess, and I don't know how big Fortnite really is. There was also a small complaint in that Fortnite had kind of this town hall meeting inside their own game that was talking about like Black Lives Matter style issues, which really is not the place of a video game forum, frankly. And Fortnite certainly has done some weird crossovers before in advertisements in the game, but yeah, I just don't know if I really agree with that concept.
I love you.
Like, the reason why so many video game companies say that they're apolitical is for the very fact that that is what the consumers want to hear.
Come on, come here.
That they don't want their games to be political. It's only a bunch of SJW mainstream video game journalists that want the games to be political.
Victory is right before our eyes.
And
It's clear sailing
I could
ahead.
go into great detail in the difference of a story having a character who's political, or a story having an action that's political, and the entirety of the story being propaganda, which is what generally people mean when they don't want it to be political. That's it. I'm fine if you tell me that there's a character that's like an extreme liberal or extreme conservative. I'm not fine if you're going to play a 60 to 200 hour game and every single character is going to be liberal and the entire narrative is going to be twisted into just a propaganda piece for that.
Victory is right before our eyes.
Level by Level Gaming says, I agree, keep the politics out of it. Yeah.
Cheap and underhanded? Why, thank you. Oh, that all you got?
Kill that one. What else can we do? Let's see. This one can have Bane. And did I need to play that? No. Do I want to evolve it or do I want to save? Level by Level Gaming's. I've heard that The Last of Us is SJW. Last of Us 2. Pretty much, but even the SJWs don't like it.
What do you mean I lost?
It's probably Last of Us 2, as I've understood it, having not played it myself. It's a case that it wanted to push kind of a story, I would say, that's not even mostly a political angle. It wanted to push this angle that vengeance is never good. And in the main goal of doing that, they
Why, thank you.
they decided to have a character who is like transgender, who is really just a secondary character that doesn't really matter, but there is a bit of a focus on that, in which there's a character that's like transgender who's been like promised as like a bride to some, I guess you'd call it a cult, and he escapes from the cult, but then he goes back to try and save his mother, even knowing that his mother was like hyper religious, and would like directly said she would attack him if she ever saw him again. And him is the, I believe, term that he is preferred pronoun. And still he goes back and gets killed. I think there is also a issue where they made a mistake, in my opinion, of having one of the characters just have a very, very muscular bodybuilder body model, and then they put a different face on it, which then kind of makes a different character feel like they are more masculine than they should. And I think that character is Abby, if I think that's her name. And in that case, it's not really it really is just a matter of, let's just be honest, if you're a bodybuilder, and they literally had a bodybuilder as the model that they scanned, your body is not what an average human being's body looks like, or in particular not what an average female's body looks like. I don't want to get into the argument that so many SJWs make against like where are organs when you see like an anime girl with like giant double G cup breasts. Like, sure, you can do whatever you want artistically if you want to, and I'm not going to make an argument that every single character needs to be anatomically correct, but when you're making The Last of Us 2, you're trying to make a hyper realistic game. I don't think anybody can legitimately make an argument that any anime is ever trying to have anatomically correct, hyper-realistic characters. It's just not the case. Like, no, everybody is using the moe art style, where every character is shorter, and like, just look at any random character. They're not really anatomically correct, and they haven't been for kind of like decades. So, but there definitely seems like there's a disconnect there when they were trying to have a hyper realistic game, and then they throw in a character that is extremely muscular for kind of no reason, almost to satisfy the fetish of the creator alone. Which again, that just kind of blows it up. And I would imagine the vast majority of the accusations of the SJW in this, and The Last of Us 2, are overblown and have more to probably do with the like tweets, I would guess, of the creator of the game than actual actions that occur in the game. And so instead of really complaining about The Last of Us 2 being SJWE, it's just way more accurate, I feel, from what I've heard, and easy to say it's just a bummer of a game. It goes on way too long. It's negative all the time. It's just not fun. At the core of it, it was a dumb idea because they kill off Joel, which, slight spoiler, at the very beginning of the game. They implied that you were going to be playing with him the whole time in the trailers, and they pulled the bait and switch, so no surprise that people are unhappy about that. And so, yeah, you're just...
Oh yeah, here's where I shine.
You're just not having a fun time.
You were done for.
Ultimate technique.
So yeah, I would say it's just not a good game. It's easier just to say that, because you also get dismissed. Like, you very quickly get dismissed by the SJWs if you just say, oh, it's SJWE, instead of having actually played the game or having actual deeper criticisms. Although, if you don't want to play a game from the looks of the trailers or from what feedback you're getting from your friend circle, by all means don't play the game. Every feedback I've heard has said don't play Last of Us 2. Oh no, I hope I'm not having network troubles. Level by Level Gaming says that's sad. The first was great. Yep, they really screwed the pooch there. When all they really needed to do is just kind of move the story along a little bit. Let's go back to the title, I guess, since network's not working. This developer is like a Korean developer, and yeah, you get this logo when it totally isn't connected. Okay. So, let me just check my network settings. Says it has internet access. So it seems like Shadowverse may have some trouble. One would hope that it would say down for maintenance if it was down for maintenance. But, yeah. I would say one of the things about Last of Us 2 that I find the most kind of weird, and from seeing just other people play it and it doesn't get talked about, is why does Abby have so many tattoos on her arm? Again, it feels like it's just like a fetish thing, or not Abby, but the main character. That might be Abby. I don't know. The main girl from the first game. Why does she have so many tattoos? She was like a young girl in the first game, so apparently, she as she barely grew up, she still feels like she's at most a 16, 17, maybe 19-year-old, and yet she has all these tattoos on her arm, and she's apparently had nobody to like really care for her. It kind of spits in the face of Joel taking her on as an adopted daughter, and then on top of that is like, why did she have a lesbian romantic interest in the game? Because that doesn't seem like that really plays enough of a role. Like, if they wanted to tell a romance story, that would be fine. It's probably not smart in a game where you're fighting zombies, but it'd be something different. So yeah, the decisions often that were made, the smaller decisions, are just as questionable as the big decisions. So I guess what we'll have to do here, as it seems like the servers have gone down. Shadowverse has one server compared to Hearthstone, where you have like a North America and a European and an Asian server, and then also a separate Chinese server you can't get into if you're not in China. So you can pretty easily just play against a whole bunch of Japanese people. Alright, so I'm seeing now I'm having, like, my website's not opening up either. Level by level gaming seems like it's all a shock or push bounds, but it's unnecessary. Yeah, that's definitely, I think, how they were trying to tell the story. With The Last of Us 2. Like, there could have been one or two big twists or shocks, but it seems like that is all it wanted to do, and then it just kind of put some generic gameplay on top of it. Alright, well, I'm gonna troubleshoot problems from Windows 10, so that's probably gonna mess up the stream somewhat. Like, I may have to reset my router, which also will probably somewhat disconnect this, but I don't know what else to do at this point because I'm having both the Chrome browser and Shadowverse not connect. It could be that my network is half down, or we have yet another DNS issue. Says troubleshoot, can't identify any problems. Yeah. So let me just double check that maybe TechRaptor's not down. Yeah, we may have just run into a DNS issue. Nah, nothing seems like it wants to work. Okay, I guess now I'll just have to reset the router. This'll be weird. See if this works. Okay, that's weird. Certainly that was weird, but I reset my router. Thankfully I can remote into it because it's not like my router is sitting right next to me. in the completely unwarranted false accusations that Magic the Gathering mentioned to me, that they banned me for, they said intentionally stalling. I wonder if I had some kind of network problem like that one day, and like a single instance of something like that happening was why they banned me. I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll this. I need to get these daily quests done, and particularly win 3 match unranked or unranked. Here we can claim another reward. Get back to this point where you can still kind of see, I'll take on Charles, but I'll almost certainly fail miserably. Yeah, I noticed that one of the guys from Game Grumps is going to start playing Magic Arena, and I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll see what happens to you since you're famous. If you get unfairly banned for 7 days, which that ban is over at this point, but I see no reason to play a card game that is so inconsistent with their support that they can inaccurately immediately blame a player for something they didn't do and then ban them without any warning or any communication whatsoever. Remember, I've played Hearthstone for 5+ years and never had any trouble with Activision Blizzard. Level Gaming said you got banned forever. No, 7 days, but might as well be forever, because then also they said if it happens again, you'll be banned forever or something along that lines. They threatened something along that lines, which doesn't really help anything, because I didn't do the thing they were accusing me of, so if they once again want to accuse you of something, then yeah, probably will get banned forever. And I sadly put in money into that game and would like that money back at this point, so maybe I could sell the account to somebody for like the 10 to 20 bucks I put it in there. I doubt I'd ever bother to do that. But yeah, also the account, the way Magic the Gathering is set up, you probably couldn't even get 10 bucks for the effort I've put into it, because things lose their value. The cards lose their value like crazy.
100 battlefields, 100 prizes.
But yeah, it's really stupid for them to have accused me of cheating, when anybody who's watched any of my videos knows I barely care at all about winning. Like, the only reason I even care a little bit is because of the fact that I'm trying to get the daily quest done. And the daily quests in Shadowverse are different, so you don't have to worry so much about getting the daily quest. They give you temporary gems, and temporary gems are fairly good, but at the moment I don't think I would play the one game per day to get that one victory. One victory per day is also way easier to do than the other games. This character has resonance, so whenever your deck is in an even number, this will trigger this ability. So play this twice, and this can't be attacked.
All creation
puppet. Puppet comes into hand. That heals. Let's see. This one has rush. See, if I evolve this one again, I think it puts another puppet in your hand.
those things dance.
Lets you do that.
The cogs have turned.
And then you just kind of want to do something along this line. So yeah.
Flash, in the name of glory.
Victory is right before our eyes.
It was actually, I think it's important to say here that it's actually was very nice and very easy to just stop playing Magic the Gathering Arena, because that game was just so greedy. And once I got a step away from it, I was like, oh yeah, that game is super greedy, and it's just not good for your pocketbook. Let's see, here, and here, and killed that. Killed that.
Twilight.
Do I want to evolve this to kill that? Probably not.
Now, let's have a look-see.
You can evolve this instead.
Now the fight begins. My magic alone isn't enough for them.
And see, this puppet will now have Bane, which means it would kill by default. Which means I can do that.
So far away.
I'll play my part.
And attack here, and attack here, and then win.
No quiet, no furious. My mercy becometh justice. It's not enough yet.
Like, I kind of like the single player elements that exist here. What in the world is that?
It's not enough yet.
That's Mars Silent Flame General.
How dare you!
Let's see. This is a rush card. This summons that. That. And play that. That. And that. I'm gonna lose at this rate.
You're through!
Let's see.
Give me strength. I'll play my part. Finally, an end to this.
Select a card and banish the rest. Draw a card for each card you banished. If this is your first turn, draw one more. So do this, I guess.
A place to call home. A place to call home.
Oops, I could have attacked. The game is kind of bad about... Maybe there's an option in there? Let's see if we can find a setting here. Battle. Confirm it end.
Beginning of the end.
Let's see.
This is grave.
We'll try confirm it end. But that probably won't work either. I got somewhere with that one. So I'm trying to remember in my mind which ones were actually the decks that actually have a chance of winning. Of course, I really just need to pre-build a deck specifically against this guy's deck,
Time for me to prove myself.
which I don't have enough cards or enough knowledge to know what to do. One of these is actually not too bad. Actually, this is going to be a crazy attempt to keep all three of them. You can only have 3 cards in the deck. I guess I'll play this now.
Hey, I'm the grown-up here.
This is one of these cards that only makes sense if you play it later on, or you just play it really early, because you often have like nothing that you can do in the first turn anyways.
Not so fast.
Let's see. If I need to get a tree. That's what I need to get installed.
Not so fast.
Moving on with the news, we have Cuphead for the PS4 version now out, which is shocking because I would have sworn that it was already out for the PS4, but apparently it had some kind of Xbox exclusivity, which might be an argument against exclusivity not really mattering anywhere as much as people once thought it did. Okay. So now, in theory, this will get +3/+3 next turn.
100 battlefields, 100 prizes.
Which normally you have so many fairies that you can play. See, this will put 2 fairies in your hand. This will put a fairy wisp and a fairy in your hand if you evolve it, which probably is the right move.
You're done for.
I've found that fairy wisps do not count as fairies, so it won't get a +1/+1, but this will,
Let's play.
and this will,
Let's play. This way.
and then do that.
That didn't go well.
At least one of your followers can still attack. Finish a turn anyways. See, yeah, that's absolutely what I needed. There we go. Thank goodness. I gotta love the I love the customization of Shadowverse. It's like, it doesn't prompt you with stuff that it probably should prompt you by default, but it at least has the option.
I can take you no further.
Victory is right before our eyes.
The Attack of the Show Twitter feed also has the same video, and the We Never Stopped Playing Twitter, but I still am not 100% sure that I don't believe that somebody just hacked the passwords and got access to the password, and there's nobody that actually officially has the password or the right to speak on behalf of the defunct G4 network, so everybody is just staying silent because they just know they're not involved.
May the forest be at peace.
Although the one person that seems to imply that they're involved seems to imply that it's happening, but that one person may also have just gone crazy. So I'm still fairly negative around the idea that a new G4 network is in some way at all going to actually succeed or accomplish
Let's play.
any real goal.
I'm the grown-up here.
Okay. Do we want to evolve this to a 4/4 and take this guy out?
It won't be long now.
apologies.
Here's Kevin Pereira. He was the male lead and the most consistent host of Attack of the Show. He has @Attack as a Twitter feed and never lost it. Let's see. He's retweeting NPR, and it seems like on his Twitter feed, I'm not saying anything more. Yeah, he's like sharing things from Spotify and such. So maybe Kevin Pereira is involved because he's got a slightly different bit of amount of information here. But this is just like the information at the loading screen, the loading animation that happens when you go to the G4 website. So, yeah, lots of people are retweeting it, but honestly, if a bunch of actors needed work desperately, and somebody said, hey, we're going to potentially hire you, they would do everything in their effort to potentially make it happen. You got to remember that Hollywood is just littered with failed projects that never actually got to the final stage. For instance, the Uncharted movie is still completely failed to be finalized.
Hey, I'm the grown-up here.
Right.
Hey, I'm the grown-up here.
Okay. So yeah, honestly, I think it's a bad announcement or a bad tease for something in a year. It's ridiculous to announce something to come out in 2021, even if you're talking like January 2021. So maybe you're talking 6 months from now. Like, I think you would want a lot more real news and a lot more just explanation of how is this going to work when it's already failed once before. Is it going to be replacing the Esquire network and on cable, or is it going to be a YouTube or Twitch service? How many people from the old G4 are going to work there, or is it all new people just using an old name? I mean, don't get me wrong, if I could get the legal rights cheap to G4, I would buy it in a second. But would my content in any way feel like G4, Attack of the Show, or X-Play? No. Not really. I might fantasize that I'm slightly like Adam Sessler. But that's about it. Moving on, TechCrafter has an article here. 6 female characters from games that sold well. This is clearly a direct response to Ubisoft manager saying games where females don't sell well. There's Bayonetta. There's Yuna from Final Fantasy X and X2. I think that's kind of some BS to start with. Like, while there are strong female characters in the Final Fantasy series, all of the Final Fantasy games have had a main male protagonist that you played as, first and foremost. So I don't think that follows well. Ellie from the Last of Us series, which, I mean, maybe, but really? Was she really a strong female leader in the first game? And can you say that she's a successful, strong female leader in the second game when half the people don't like the second game? So yeah, I don't know if there's a fair argument here. Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect series, that's kind of BS too, because while there was a strong fan base that played the female version of Shepard, Fem Shep as they called him, it really was just a skin swap. There's nothing special about it. Max Caulfield from Life is Strange. I played the first Life is Strange character. She's not a strong female character at the beginning at all. She's kind of not a strong female character until maybe the very end of the story. And I don't particularly think I would even argue that Life is Strange is a successful, great game. It's a mediocre game. It's minorly successful, but not super successful. I'm going to make my own list at this rate from comparing to this list, because there are better options. Bayonetta. Bayonetta is the first character that is actually a strong female, is actually the leader, and at least for the first game and probably the second game, to a lesser extent, the Bayonetta series was a successful game. Cassandra from the Assassin's Creed Odyssey games, I think I would agree with that one. She clearly was the one that they wanted to be the only hero, and they wrote her that way, and I think the Assassin's Creed Odyssey game in general was successful and was good. So I will agree with Cassandra. So I'm not just being contrarian and disagreeing with everything TechRaptor has written on this list. So I've agreed with 2 out of 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 out of 6 listings. So who would I put on this list in addition to Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Bayonetta? Well, you're immediately forgetting Samus Aran, where her femininity is not emphasized in almost all of her games, and in the one game where it is emphasized, it kind of sucks. Samus Aran from the Metroid series is clearly a strong female lead character. The Symphony of the Night clone game that recently came out has a female character. I think she would be a good addition also. Bloodstained. Yeah, the Bloodstained main female character. I haven't played the game, so I can't actually name her, unfortunately, but I would definitely say she is a category. Let's see, I'm just gonna go through history here and think about all the old games. You've got Miss Pac-Man being better than Pac-Man. I don't know if you really want to call that a human female, though. You have Joanna Dark from the Perfect Dark series in her first game, probably deserves a mention. No
subject of mine will be forsaken.
Let's go ahead and evolve.
You are done for.
The forest, illuminated by my blade. I am the guiding light. Know the fury of the forest.
What do we want to kill? Probably that.
So this is the end.
Let's see. What are some other female main characters? I mean, you could definitely do like Super Mario Bros. 2, where you play as the princess amongst other characters, but I don't think that would particularly fall in the category of a main character. It would run into the same problem as Yuna with Final Fantasy XX2. you definitely would want Lara Croft. Like, there's never been a story where Lara Croft has not been the main strong female protagonist. I think I've played everything except for Dragon, and so we'll try Dragon, but I'll probably fail miserably with that. Let's see. The Atelier Ryza main character is a more recent addition that I think probably would fall under this category. It's not having played this. The Neptunia characters are all female characters. If you start going into more of the Japanese style of games, there definitely are plenty of female protagonists that are that you would consider. B2, I believe is her name, from Nier Automata. Main female strong character. So that would be another one to consider. There's actually quite a lot of Japanese games with main female characters that they're forgetting, and they're only mentioning Bayonetta and Yuna for Final Fantasy because those are major successful games that in a lot of ways have just become Americanized and generally accepted by the populace. Carmen Sandiego, not really the protagonist of the Carmen Sandiego series, but a strong female character, to say the least. Let's see. I don't think I would be as silly as to throw in something like Barbie in general, but you might make a great argument for Nancy Drew in general, since she has a long-running series that, while it has niche appeal, also manages to maintain an audience.
100 battlefields, 100 prizes.
Let's see. You know, I could probably just go on the Steam itself and search female protagonist as a tag. Let's see. Let's see if we can do that. Bayonetta on Steam, view page, tag female protagonist. Okay. Let's just bring this over here. Maximize that. Then let's play for a second. Deal 3 damage, put a tree in your hand. Summon 2 basilisks if you speed it up. Otherwise, wait till the 7th turn. Let's see. Empty play point to speed things up. Be damage to an enemy follower. I think I'll just summon some basilisks. Okay. Could have evolved that, but I don't think I want to. So here's Steam with browsing the tag of female protagonists. Necro Batista is a new game. There was a female protagonist in Gears 5, but let's ignore that one for a second. Let's search by top sellers. Here you go. Atelier, Ryza, Half-Life Alyx. Alright. Tomb Raider. Horizon Zero Dawn. Bloodstained. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Haven't heard of that game. Another Tomb Raider. Chell from Portal 2. Female protagonist. I assume somewhat strong, but not very vocal. Dragon Age Inquisition apparently has a female protagonist. The Resident Evil 3 main character is a female protagonist. Beyond Two Souls, like maybe you ignore those, or in the same way that you might ignore a single series game like Plague: A Tale of Innocence. Hellblade: Sasuna's Sacrifice, I think can't be ignored, even though there's only one game out at the moment around that concept. The Mirror's Edge character is a good female protagonist. Let's see. How many nutrient? This would be 3 damage to everybody. Let's play this. And this. And then... damage to a follower. Let's see what else have we got. Mirror's Edge, Portal 1, Chris, never heard of that. Yeah, I know that game, I've seen it. The Shantae series, female protagonist there. Apparently there's a female protagonist in Bright Memory and sorta in Tales of Mana. I don't know if I agree with that one. Life is Strange, Before the Storm, Celeste, I guess that's a female protagonist. Tales of Berseria, apparently. Wolfenstein Youngblood, I'd not mention that. Danganronpa characters, apparently, sometimes. You have the female protagonist in Darksiders 3, although I wouldn't mention that one either. Far Cry New Dawn, I wouldn't mention that one either. Iron Fury, I wouldn't mention that one either. The Skullgirls characters in the fighting game are all female protagonists, and there definitely are some female protagonists in Dead or Alive. The girl from the Walking Dead series, yeah. She's a female protagonist in half of the stories that she's... half of the Walking Dead games.
That didn't go well.
See. I don't know how this is gonna work. Let's see.
Be gone.
I haven't played the Evolves well enough here.
Twilight.
See, if I could get this Shadow Corrosion in my hand, I might be able to win, but odds are very low on that. So I think what I would get me to win is playing as the Portalcraft character. Again, they do say Final Fantasy X and X2 is a female protagonist. The Indivisible character I wouldn't mention, because I would try to like ignore things that don't have multiple games, and even XX2 is kind of not the most prevalent characters I would mention. River City Girls, for the same reason, I would not mention. There's a female protagonist in the Turing Test, but again, maybe not that big. The Ruby game has female protagonists, obviously, and might have some relevancy there. There's a Neptunia game, mention those. And Haiti has a female protagonist, but it's basically just a butt in a robot suit. What's this game? Bullet Girls Fantasia. I need to check that one out. Sinrin Kagura characters. The anime ninja girls in lewd outfits are female protagonists, but of course they wouldn't mention that. Dead or School, same situation. Resident Evil 5 lets you play as a female protagonist. Remember Me. Even Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 5 though run into that problem where there's not a consistent female protagonist in the Resident Evil series. There's no consistent protagonist in the series at all. See, I feel like more of these games would be mentioned if they were, if it was really showing off a lot of really older games too. I feel like I'm losing potentially 30% of older games that would have female protagonists, just looking at Steam's listings compared to looking at a like Wikipedia list or something like that.
Darkness is lit by truth.
I don't think I'd make an argument that the Princess Maker series is a female protagonist because you're playing as kind of a father raising a daughter in that case. Contrast has a female protagonist, but there's only one game there. It is kind of a harder thing to pull out when you say let's only talk about the most successful characters, most successful games that also have series, because there really isn't a most successful game series out there. There really aren't as many as you would think.
I could never set foot in the sun.
Rotate, Sandra.
Her Story, super successful game with a female protagonist. Not only is the person that you're looking at the interview videos female, or the two people maybe that you see in interviews, but also the person that you're playing as is actually female. And that's slightly hinted at. Can't evolve that yet. Wouldn't want to do that. Let's see if we can do this for this.
Just follow my tune, and away we go.
And then we can do that. And then that. And then we can do this. And this. And that.
It comes to this.
100 battlefields, 100 bronzes.
There's a game called Blue Reflection. It's a JRPG.
On this blade I vow victory. Come again.
See, I'm gonna go to about 20 tabs here, and then I'll call it a day as far as looking at lists. And the only reason I even have time to do this is because I didn't watch my Twitter feed enough to see all the games that came out. Child of Light, yeah, that game has a female protagonist in its fairy tale story. They're there if you look. It's just that a lot of people don't want to look, or a lot of people want to push a narrative that's not quite accurate. See if I do this.
Let's have a look-see.
And then I evolve this.
Coming at you. My magic alone isn't enough for them.
And then do this. And then attack with this.
Twilight.
Then attack with that.
All burnt out. I'll play my part.
And then just throw that in the field.
Ooh, you're a big fella.
Yeah, actually you don't even get a listing of a Nancy Drew game until about the 13th page as far as popularity. The Blood Rain character, female protagonist, definitely.
These wings are the emblem of victory. No way!
Still plenty of Senran Kagura games and Oni Chombrick games, which there's been enough of that to be a series, and I would say that that is a moderately successful series. The main thing I think you're also intentionally overlooking when you make a list like this is you're actively eliminating any game in your mind that has both male and female protagonists, unless the female protagonist is the most important heroine, and only if it's the most important heroine. Okay. What are we gonna kill? This? Alright. Another Tomb Raider game.
I'll save you all.
And of course, in looking at the Steam listing, you're not going to get any of the Metroidvania games. Because any Nintendo game is not going to be on the list. What's this game, Blood of the Werewolf? That looks interesting. Well, I'm actually finding a couple interesting new games. And of course, there's plenty of like RPG Maker games with female protagonists that are just there to sell on lewdness or sex scenes. But I don't think any of those really even have series or would in any way be considered successful. What's interesting here is as I'm scrolling down, I'm seeing a lot of games that I've either owned or I own or want to own. So I think I've done a fairly good job about finding, going out of the way to find female protagonist games. I like playing as the female characters more than the male characters, so that's not super surprising to me. Put a puppet in your hand. Select a card in your hand and banish the rest. Alright. Whenever an enemy follower with Storm attacks your leader, give the follower -2. Evolve to give an enemy follower -2. Destroy this. And then play this to do that. Then do this.
Shall reveal your inner light.
And then
Now the fight begins.
Reveal your splendor. I shall watch over you.
My apologies.
Play my part.
so I think he just cheated there and drew a card to keep him alive. See, I think this is a scripted fight. Alright. Okay, this is going to gain Storm, which means it's going to be able to attack. Which means I can do this and this. Got lucky. Got lucky there. So yeah, I went like 25 tabs under that tag on Steam, and yeah, there's plenty of female protagonist games. Maybe not the biggest or most successful ones. Did we get all the quest missions done? Let's see, quest missions. Which one did we not finish? Win the match without playing a spell. Okay. So now we're going to take on Charles. Win the match without restoring your leader's defense. Win the match without using evolution points. Win the match on the 10th turn. That seems unlikely to happen in any case. But we're going to try this and see how this goes. It probably won't go very well at all. So, as a video game critic to another video game critic, you could get this list up to 10 instead of 6, and you should probably not mention games where the characters are secondary characters, or they're not in a series that's majorly successful, or there's I mean, I could get honorable mentions for the Mass Effect series or such things like that. I think also you're kind of showing your bias and a love of Life is Strange that is not really as warranted, but that might just be my personal opinion on Life is Strange. Maybe most people did like it. I'm not going to bother to explain any of the story of Code Geass, so if you don't know it. So just that this is the main bad guy. And I know they brought back the anime for Code Geass, but I don't know if they really are just retelling the story once again, or if they are going in a different direction or telling a different story completely. Right, this guy's gonna summon cards, which I think really limits me down to just doing this.
Let's have a look-see.
But that's fine. Tech Raptor has another article here, spine-chilling horror games for the summer, which is another listicle. They are suggesting the Siren series, Haunting Ground. Some of these are like fairly old games, and honestly, a lot of the old horror games might work if they are playable, particularly on PC. Some of them are not, and were PlayStation 2 type games and things along that line.
I could never set foot in the sun.
They're suggesting also the Evil Within series and Dying Light. I need to get on to playing Dying Light. But a game called Song of Horror. Haven't heard of that one.
A place to call home.
Apparently it's episodic. So you kind of have to wonder also, was this, let's make 3 suggestions that are sincere and then put in an advertisement for a 4th game they paid us to advertise. Okay. Originally cost 3. We'll have to copy that.
Follow my tune, and away we go.
So now we have 2 of these, which could save me
Play my part.
for a couple turns.
Coming at you.
I'm gonna go ahead and
My
just
magic alone isn't enough for them.
evolve this. Yep. I may have dropped the ball mentioning the Epic Game Store free games, but I'll mention right now you can get Next Up Hero and Tacoma and 20XX and Barony are coming soon. This looks like a Mega Man clone with a female character. Yeah, there's probably a decent number of games like that that are just clones of other games, but are just kind of mods for a different skin. 4 damage and put a puppet, or do this. Actually, yeah, you do this,
Guess that was someone else.
and then this one should have Bane. Does it have Bane? Yeah, it does.
Let's go, everyone.
And then we can go ahead and give this that fanfare.
I'll play my part.
Yeah, I could see how it would get fairly annoying to have to be prompted. But early on in the game, I think I need to do that. So yeah, the free Twitch games for Twitch Prime are still happening. The free Epic games are still happening. The quality of the games that have been available nowadays are potentially getting pretty bad. It's hardly like you're getting major games. Alright.
Our power is unleashed. Our power is unleashed.
Or red.
I'm having to evolve to try and take out this character.
Oh no!
Just trying to stay alive for
Reveal your inner light.
a while. Game of Sutra has an article here. Xbox Game Pass is all about the power of word of mouth marketing. Quote, when people feel like you're over delivering on value, they want to not only continue to use your service, but they want to tell their friends about it. Okay, good. I would argue that in the video game wars that never end, there is definitely half of the Xbox fanboys sending out word of mouth marketing and in a positive way, and then there are people out there that are just poo-pooing all over the next Xbox.
You're through. Just follow the tune of my magical pipe.
Let's see.
I shall reveal your inner light.
I think I've lost here. Best thing I can do is that, I guess. And I only got one chance on this, so it's not surprising that I wasn't gonna get this. Now, if they wanted to be really greedy, they would tell me you can battle again for some premium currency. Alright. Yep, limit once per day, so you can't do that. So the only other thing I could do is come back and try and win a match without playing a spell on Suzaka for another 100. And at this point, let's see. Maybe there's a level here where over the days we'll fight some other people, or we'll fight the same people over and over again. So we got 5 rewards, which is going to be this, which is a card skin, I think. We've got 1 ticket for a pack, another ticket for a pack. I just want to look at everything. Another animated card skin. But once this whole Code Geass event stops happening, I don't know if you really would want to use those card skins. So I'm 10% of the way done as far as points, so there must be some other challenges. And I'll probably just have to play daily for that. And see, at some point I want to do a draw to match. Which are they take 2 matches? Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing those as kind of a draft at some point, but not sure I'm going to get around to it. And that bumped me up to like 5 packs. So we should celebrate and open 1 pack, as it were. There's still a lot of cards that I don't have, but I think a lot of the cards I don't have also are from like the basic set too, and I'm not sure Shadowverse really does a great job of giving you enough opportunity to get the basic cards. Restore 3 defense to an ally. If at least 2 other cards are played, restore 1 evolution point. Randomly put a 4-player Havencraft follower or amulet from your deck into your hand. And it has ward. This is new. Deal 3 damage to an enemy follower. If Wrath is activated, recover 2 play points. Last words, put a paradigm shift into your hand. What is a paradigm shift? Whenever an allied artifact is follower is destroyed, subtract 1 cost from this card. Summon a barrier artifact, a knee edge artifact, or airstrike artifact. Barrier artifact has Bane and Ward for 4/6. Knee edge artifact has Rush and Drain. Wow, this is, I think, a really good card. An airstrike artifact has less wards to do 2 damage to the enemy leader. Interesting. So this is like a 7 mana card that you get into your hand by playing this at the beginning. Interesting. Enhance 6, give +1/+1 to all Bloodcraft followers. If Vengeance is activated, give +2/+2. Otherwise, it's just a 4/4. It evolves to a 6/6. Fairy Assault, summon 4 fairies and give them rush. Enhance, evolve them instead, which would give them rush by default. Here we have Accelerate 1, summon a fighter. Can only accelerate if a follower was played this turn. Whenever you play a card, using accelerator effects, summon a fighter and evolve it. This Chipper Skipper might be very useful in certain decks. Then we have Juggling Mogi. Earthright, gain +1/+1 and last ward, summon 2 Earth Essences. Alright, not a bad collection of cards. That was a pretty good draw. Need to figure out, though, what missions I need to get done. Need to play Bloodcraft. So, let me show you how you do these main story quests real quick. Since it's super easy, I'll do one game. So you choose Bloodcraft here in the first chapter, not the prologue. Then you just scroll all the way down to the first one. Uncheck skipped battle. I'll even disable voice since we're just going to skip it anyways. And I'm going to just click and skip directly into the battle. And since the battle is just a tutorial, all you have to do is 3 things and you're guaranteed to win. And they hold your hand so you can't even really lose. The 3 things you have to do is you have to click through these, drag the thing they want on there, and then do whatever the next thing is, which is usually end a turn. And then they want you to evolve the creature and then play the spell to defeat it. And this will play. Really?
Take that! Wait, that's it?
I guess that was the strategy. Interesting strategy on that one. But once you do it once, it's the exact same every time.
I'm sorry, Princess.
And so you can have a extremely fast victory. And you'll just win.
All too easy.
Get 200 experience. These levels go up to 150, by the way. and then you have to kind of skip through this to get out. It doesn't immediately allow you to battle again. But yeah, that makes the daily quests way easier if you choose the solo quests. And see, now we have 1 victory with Bloodcraft, which would get these 2 daily quests done. And plus, if I did 1 more, I would get the main story practice. So the only thing really that needs to be done at the moment is to probably try and win 3 matched in ranked. So we're gonna play a little ranked. Let's see, rotation. Do we want to try Dragoncraft 2? Or are we still trying the default decks? I think I don't want to try the default decks. I'm gonna try Dragoncraft 2. Meanwhile, let's try and finish up the news and call it a day, because in the next hour or so, because yeah, these streams don't need to be as long as they used to be, and it seems like I can kind of get the daily quest at the moment done quicker. So Gamatsu has an article here: Sakura's Shadow dies twice, sales top 5 million, and the additional feature update launches October 29th. What is the additional feature going to be? Reflection of Strength and Gauntlet of Strength.
This one's for my family.
I guess you're looking for a fight.
An ability to change form, remnants. So seems like they're going to add a few things. Let's see. Tech Raptor has an article here. In Exile Entertainment, which I haven't heard of In Exile in a while. They've announced a Frostpoint VR, a AAA VR player versus everyone 20-person shooter, or player versus event. I guess maybe it's supposed to be player versus player and player versus event. That's a weird way to phrase that. I've never seen that written that way. Which, okay, but it's a VR game, so I don't know how you're going to have enough audience to have a 20-person shooter amongst just VR players. That seems fairly limiting your audience. Game of Sutra has an article. Do-it-yourself game platform Roblox tops 150 monthly active users. Which, since we're talking about Roblox, I would want to mention that YouTube is just driving me crazy, and I need to not think about it, because I'm gonna potentially just stop using YouTube altogether, which would be insane and a hugely dumb move. But their recommendation system is just garbage. I don't know if it's broken completely. On top of the things that they've been doing to actively dissuade you from looking at your actual subscriptions and seeing the videos you actually said, yes, I want to see these. Like, particularly on my cell phone, when I click on the subscriptions feed, it does not show me the subscription feed at least 50% of the time. It shows me a suggestions home feed that might be slightly different than the standard suggestions home feed. But even when I go and look at the subsections and say, alright, let's see if you can actually know me better than I know myself, they're 100% wrong. Like, just 100% wrong as far as making suggestions for videos I've already seen, that YouTube already knows I've seen because they have the red play bar at the end of them. I don't want to go back and watch the last 5 minutes of a video. Perhaps that is at the core one of YouTube's algorithm's problems, is it's thinking, oh, you didn't finish this video, so you want to watch the last 5 minutes. No, the last 5 minutes of most videos are just people advertising themselves, things I've already heard before. Even I do it on my videos. And it's better to advertise at the end and annoy fewer people than annoy lesser people, more people at the beginning. Although I guess content creators would probably disagree on that one.
Be gone.
But yeah, it's still suggesting me rap videos. It's still suggesting me makeup videos. It's just insane how badly the algorithm has become. And clearly, it just wants to push the most popular videos to me. It wants me to change. The stupid Google computer algorithm is saying, no human being, no user, you're wrong. You need to be interested in the things we're saying, we say are interesting, and not the other way around of them suggesting and serving the content that I've asked for and obviously would want to see. And it doesn't get any worse than like the makerspace level on that, because if you're a maker, if you're programming an Arduino or something, you get like no promotion at all, and even people that like and understand that stuff, such as me, don't get recommended your videos. It's really, really bad. Moving on though, TechRaptor has an article, Sea of Thieves Ashen Winds update is now live, which I guess there's still a committed fan base of Sea of Thieves, although I would imagine it's just slowly dying off.
We're gonna really fly now.
Let's see.
It won't be long now.
Evolving this character is probably a really bad move. TechRaptor has an article, Ubisoft's King Arthur Avalon RPG was killed due to the former executive Hascoat. At least that's the accusation being made now. Which, you know, a game based around Arthurian legends and the Knights of the Round Table, it's not a bad idea. Not by any means. Let's see. Let's do this.
Cutting across. No.
See if there's anything else to mention here. It's kind of some BS though, I will say. You're gonna have plenty of people coming out now saying, well, this person in actually doing their job canceled this project, and this project, and since this person is now canceled themselves, that becomes this "I told you so" argument that the game was actually going to be good. When there is a very good chance that lots of games get canceled, lots of games get stuck in development hell, lots of games that could have been good just don't become good. So while the general idea of a King Arthur RPG game sounds interesting to kind of rival Skyrim or something, that doesn't inherently mean that that project with those people in charge and those programmers and those developers actually were going to succeed. The opposite of this kind of story would have been that the game was just in development hell forever and cost millions of dollars and wasted Ubisoft's money and time. I won't show this, but the idle clicker Kink Incorporated from Newtaku now has pre-registrations opened. Remember, this is from TechRaptor again. They have a advertisement agreement with Nutaku. I'm still playing that College Life game, but there definitely is just this shadow of it being very pointless, and I'm gonna potentially just max it out and not actually accomplish anything. That and that.
My dragon and I are one.
Let's see. Tech Raptor has an article here. Private Division teams up with Moon Studios, League of Geeks, and Roll7. I don't know any of these companies' name. Private Division is a publishing label of Take-Two Interactive, which we probably good news for Take-Two that they literally haven't had any stories around them lately. Moon Studio is a BAFTA award-winning studio and is best known for the Ori series. League of Geeks are developers of the digital board game Amarello, never heard of it. And Roll7 is a BAFTA-winning studios that created the Ollie Ollie series, Not a Hero, and Laser League. So these all seem like these are British companies publishing, partnering with a British, probably, publishing company, which, okay. So if this guy can't do 7 damage, which maybe they can.
You're a solid fighter.
Wow. What in the world was that? Sadly, you can't go back and look at the log after the fact. But that I was about to win there. Or at least I felt like I was about to win. I could be wrong. Moving on, Gamatsu has an article. Fuga, Melodies of Stool, news coming soon. Tokyo Ogre Gate in Sicilia not in yet in active development. So these are games, but I don't recognize any of them. So these seem like the first announcements of all of these. And here's one of these Japanese announcements where you're not going to have anything to say. Wow, this is a nice bookshelf setup they've got there. Like that's at some office though. That is not somebody's house. I'm gonna keep that tab just to look at his bookshelves. I have cheap bookshelves. They work, but it would be nice if they had glass in front of them to remove the dust. Every now and then I have to dust. Probably should dust a lot more, but there is also kind of a danger in collectible dusting because you could get aggressive with it, and a lot of these cardboard like anime DVD box art and boxes I have, like I'm not sure if it isn't the dust really holding things together, and I'm not sure if the actual plastic cases themselves aren't slowly breaking down over the course of the years. I didn't buy them as collectibles per se, but they are often impossible to replace and rather rare. So if I had kept them all in the plastic, maybe they would stay better together. Let's see. I want to do this one, I guess. Gamatsu has an article. New Super Lucky's Tale for PS4 and Xbox One launches August 21st, which I don't remember what the Super Lucky's Tale series is. Is it a platformer? Yeah, is a love letter to classic 3D platformers. Alright, well, I'll keep an eye out for that because I'm always trying to find a good I'm always trying to find a good classic platformer and 3D platformer game, and none of them ever feel like they're designed the way I want them to be designed. TechRaptor has a review for a game called Hellpoint, which apparently is a fresh take on the Souls-like genre. Okay. Yeah, looks like a game that I could potentially play. Although maybe it's a little bit more of a Dark Souls game than maybe it would be too difficult. They gave it an 8.5, which is a rather high review. Hellpoint is an excellent take on a Souls-like formula that incorporates some fresh new ideas despite a few hiccups. Pros are a fresh take on the genre, solid combat mechanics, creepy atmosphere, and fun boss battles. Cons are rough fast travel system, no connection between areas, and it's difficult to grind. Which, that might be a problem for some people, including me. Deal 2 damage to an enemy follower. So if we do this and then do that. What was this one? So bring back a follower. So if I evolved this follower and then attacked and then died, would it be... Would that be smart? Kind of get conflicting news here, where it's telling you hurry up and play, but also you've got cards that you could still play, so you could run into some pop-ups slowing you down. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article. Moss developer Polyarch has raised $9 million to explore an augmented reality game. Moss, I believe, was the VR game that was only VR, unfortunately, because I wanted to play that little mouse game, but I'm not sure there actually would have been a way to actually play it, and I'm not sure it actually was much of a game worth playing. Let's see. I can evolve this to a 5/6. I can defeat this, which first move do that, and then so deal 1 damage and gain +2/+1, which then we could buff up, or let's try that. Then evolve.
Be gone. This gives +1/+1 to something. Okay. Hit that. And that. And then the turn. TechRaptor has an article here. No, World of Warcraft is not coming to the Xbox Series X. Apparently that that listing we saw, that Brazilian listing for World of Warcraft, apparently that was in error according to TechRaptor, which, okay, believable. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Activision Blizzard did release World of Warcraft on the Xbox Series X at some point, and they're just not ready to announce it. Alright. This could do 2 damage to like that. And then 2 more damage to that. And then this. Then evolve.
It won't be long now.
And I totally played wrong there. It's just like terrible strategy there. That was totally pointless. That was awful. Just awful. Let's see. Gamatsu has this article. The Aqua Plus composer Michio Kinugasa passes away. The company president Naoya Shimokawa reports the composer's death. I think I would kind of recognize this, but honestly any anime screen would look fairly similar. He composed various music for the Utawaru Mono and Tears of Tiara series, Dungeon Travelers, Aquapaza, and more. So, yeah. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more of this information, these kind of announcements, frankly. Because we are going to see more of these types of announcements, as regardless of how well COVID might be handled in Japan, it's still just gonna keep happening all over the place. That's like the worst. That was the worst one to attack. Let's face it, I've already lost. Gamatsu has the Famitsu review scores for issue 1652. And here we have a Moe row? No, Neptunia character. I forgot the name of the series here. So, 2 scores here. The Coma Vicious Sisters for PS4 and Switch being given a 31 out of 40. And Neptunia Virtual Stars for the PS4 being given a 31 out of 40. So you can definitely see that there's a lack of games coming out in Japan as much as there's a lack of games coming out anywhere. Now would really be a great time for Steam and other companies to work on their back end, work on their servers, just kind of slow things down, reevaluate procedures. There's a lot of things I think you could do in most businesses if you ever had time, and this is like the first time that anybody actually has had time to do like training and reevaluation of the training, things along those lines. Some of these backgrounds and a few of the characters in the cards I've seen make more sense now that I've started doing the story of Chapter 3. This background, for instance, is used in Chapter 3. I'd argue there's probably too many backgrounds in this game for what they're worth. Next we have a game on Steam called Venge, which is tagged as a horror game. And it looks like a dark screenshot horror game. Yeah, I don't know if there's an actual game here. It's $4.99, single player, English full audio. And I would have to be super generous to put it on the follow list. Also, I'm signed out, so I can't put it on the follow list. Every month or so they sign you out. I don't know why. It's not like I go more than a couple days without looking at a Steam webpage. Although I guess if you could keep a cookie active just by having a page open, then people who are nefariously doing that could also do it. I saw a device that literally taps the screen on a cell phone for you automatically, which, yeah, if there was like a real reason why you would want to grind out an idle game where you're tapping the same button over and over again. And if you could actually make money from that, that would be interesting, but I don't think that's the case. Although, you know, I guess if you could possibly get some playlist or script thing happening where you're just liking videos, and so you watch a video, you tap the like button automatically, and then you wait till the next video to tap the next video, or you jump to the next video. But there's better ways to automate something like that. There's way better ways than having a physical device that clips on the front of your screen. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Arrog, A-R-R-O-G, which looks artsy. It's tagged as a point and click. It's positive. It's $2.69, English and a bunch of languages. Yeah, this might be worth it at that price. Next, we have a TechRaptor article. Ghost of Tsushima Lethal Difficulty debuts in patch 1.05. I've heard some complaints about the Ghost of Tsushima difficulty not being high enough, which is a rare complaint, but it happens on a few occasions. So, yeah, maybe that will satisfy people. There was also some complaints that the Ghost of Tsushima is just a turn your brain off and play type of game, which if that is the case, I don't think there's really much to complain about there, or people are actually complaining much about that. It's probably what a lot of people could benefit from at this point. I'm gonna do that. Do I have more cards to play? Nope. I can't play that. Beyond the Steel Sky, which is the sequel to the very old game Beneath the Steel Sky, apparently has some kind of discount if you already own some of the other games by Revolution Software, like up to 30% off instead of 20% off. But they didn't ever send me a coupon, so I'm wondering if there might be a new system that Steam has where it can just look automatically at your account when you're logged in and get an extra discount without going through the whole coupon code concept. That would be fairly nice improvement compared to the whole inventory system that they have for Steam anyways, where you've got all these card packs and trading cards and wallpapers, and on top of that you have game passes and discount coupons that are just kind of all in the same place. It's not like the coupons have an actual coupon code that you could give to someone else or someone else could use, so there's kind of no reason to have to go into your inventory, see if you've got a coupon, add that to your shopping cart, and then add the game to the shopping cart. And the general concept sounds really good, that if you're a loyal customer, you're getting more of a discount. They've done that with bundles in the past, but and often on Steam, if you buy a bundle of a game where you already own the other games, you're getting a better discount anyways. But perhaps they're gonna relabel things to improve the understanding of how that works, because I don't think everybody understood the idea that you could buy a bundle even if you only need to get one of those games, if that's the only game you don't already own. and get a higher price or a higher discount. Okay. Interesting. Many allied followers are in play. 1.
Nothing scary with allies by your
Well,
side.
you something.
Gamma Sutra has a blog here. Are platforms devaluing games to gain market share? And my response to that is one would hope. Certainly, Epic Game Store has tried that, giving away some decent games in the past. But of course, you've got like game developers who don't want the cost of the those. They don't want their games to become cheaper, when frankly the games should be cheaper. I heard an interesting argument just in general about the economy at the moment. And it's like everybody should just forget the good times of the past, because knowing the good times of the past is not in any way going to help you pay your bills now. So that there is this just idea out there that you need to reevaluate, and you need to be more realistic and more frugal than you ever needed to be before.
I totally got this. Easy peasy lemon
Nothing
squeezy.
scary with allies by your side.
What is this doing? Why is that making a sound effect? Probably because I was taking some kind of damage for something. I don't know what I was taking damage from. But it is kind of this Game of Sutra article about complaining about games being given away for free really just shows the unbridgeable divide between game developers who as a necessity need to try to make as much money as possible so that they can continue to waste money making $1 million games when they should be probably making $100,000 games, and the consumer who wants the best value for their buck.
Look after the others.
And I could get into a very long argument on economics saying, well, if game developers, and I mean just the actual people that work on games in this case, not the managers, not the HR departments, if just game developers were given grants from a government, maybe from taxpayer monies, maybe from taxes that come from the richest 1%. If they were just giving grants to do an artistic endeavor, like other arts often are in other countries, then yeah, I don't actually want to do that. I figured out that you just have to click in the middle to cancel. But yeah, if game developers were just given grants, then at that point they have no need to bother with trying to monetize their elements, their what is the word? Their games. Yeah, their art. They don't have to try and sell their art at that point. Give it rush. Evolve.
Raise your blade. By the Knight's Code. By the Knight's Code. By the Knight's Code.
Yeah, something's affecting my character, but it's not doing damage to it. Like, But yeah, if they could just get the capitalism out of the art form of making video games, that solves the need for video games to be $60 in a lot of ways. Maybe it raises the taxes on a lot of people. Maybe it creates a committee that disapproves the creation of a lot of boring, bad games. You might not get games like Depression Quest. You, on the other hand, might get tons of games like Depression Quest. Moving on though, TechRaptor has the secret ending for Metal Gear Solid 5 depicting full nuclear disarmament has been finally earned, and this must have been earned by them secretly manipulating the numbers in the background. It's been earned for the PlayStation 3, and this, as I understood it, you had to disarm every single nuclear warhead in the game, and every person connected to the network had to do the same, which, let's see, does not seem realistic, because obviously people have stopped playing Metal Gear Solid 5 on the PlayStation 3, so there must have been some kind of system here to get around the dead players, the players that are no longer playing. Let's see. Deal 3 damage or summon. I mean, I guess if I just do this and do that,
Embraced by the earth.
and then end the turn. But also, I would say that type of gameplay mechanic, really failed
The order will remain.
as an idea because it took way too long. It's not going to hype people up and make them want to go back and play Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, people are way done with that. 2, 3, 4 years past the point where there'd be any hype around that game. So, I think you could have easily just written a line that said, if just 10% of nuclear arms were reduced.
It won't be long now.
Which there definitely is, in the real world, an argument that there's far too much nuclear proliferation. That there's enough nukes to effectively destroy the world over several times. But yeah, that's not going to change much. 4 damage. 4 damage. 3 damage. Let's see. Let's do 4 damage here. And then 4 damage here. I don't really need to banish anything. Trying to see what actually even gets the rally up. What is that? Number of allied followers have come and played equals greater. That. Okay, so I just need to play more allied followers. TechRaptor has an article: Xbox games with gold, August 2020 games will beat you up. So that's just defeated again. MX Unleashed, Portal Knights, Red Faction 2, and Override Mech City Brawl. still having some trouble getting this like temporary gyms daily mission done. 3 matches, ranked, unranked, arena. Like, I've definitely dropped the ball on this daily quest for probably 5 days straight. And frankly, if I just got it done, I think I'd just get another daily mission to get 400 temporary gems again. So, yeah. I still have a ton of work on top of doing all the solo stuff. I need to really find some extra time to rebuild the deck. My goal here is to try and finish all of the solo stuff and then rebuild the decks. Trying to hold out till the next expansion to spend all the gold and buy new packs. And there's also uploading that needs to happen. Certainly. TechRaptor has an article here. New Castlevania game Moonlight Rhapsody is in development for Chinese markets. It is almost certainly going to be like a cell phone, free-to-play garbage game. Yeah, it kind of looks like might be an idle game or a cell phone game. Not 100% an idle game, but definitely doesn't look like it's something that would come to the West. And yeah, what can you say? Konami being Konami in that case. TechRaptor has an article. Euden Chronicle is targeting Nintendo's next generation console. That's an interesting thought. It's not a Switch 2 announcement, apparently. That definitely is an interesting thought, to think that the Switch potentially would be superseded by something. It would be kind of crazy if Nintendo came out with a home-only console that didn't have the mobility options of the Switch. And it would be kind of crazy if there wasn't backward compatibility. Like, I've been thinking in these desperate times somebody might sell their kid's Switch and I might get one cheap, but then I'd have to probably buy it off eBay or something, and that would be a nightmare. But at a certain point, maybe it does, like 2 or 3 years from now, it would totally make sense to not buy the Switch and assume that there is a sequel to it coming out. But right now, there's still a decent reason to get a Switch. And in all fairness, in the history of Nintendo consoles, there's, with the exception of the Wii, which was just flooded the market with Wiis, none of the old consoles really ever got super cheap or super fluent enough that you could get them at a great discount, except for the Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy you could get really, really cheap right before you couldn't get it at all. Daedalic Entertainment has a job listing for a technical project manager. If you're interested in that, search that out. So yeah, Daedalic still trying to do different kinds of games. So they are moving away, I think, still from point and click adventure games, which I guess is fine if that's what they want to do. I also wanted to mention that Control, which people have pretty much forgotten about at this point, is now selling for $30 and half off, and it's at least at the Epic Games Store. Yeah, Control, just kind of a flash in the pan. Critical darling, but not really super popular amongst the fans. Not really having any lasting powers. You'd be a fool if you were still playing Control, just doing all those random events as they popped up. It was very pretty, I will give it that, but I think the story was fairly fairly generic, maybe well written, but just a generic average story, and didn't really do enough character building in my opinion, and was more focused on just having a fight mechanic that I really didn't like. Techraptor also has a tabletop review for Scooby-Doo Escape from the Haunted Mansion, which is a tabletop board game, and I wanted to see what they thought about it. It's an interesting idea, certainly for young kids to play. Let's see. You get all of the good Scooby-Doo characters in basically their old outfits and what animation style, which probably doesn't find it very relatable. I feel like this is a probably just a skin of Escape from Haunted Mansion. They're saying get the game if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, enjoy escape room mystery board games, have a group to play cooperatively with, which that eliminates me, and enjoy solving puzzles. Avoid the game if you're not a fan of the source material, don't want a one-play game where you think you've gotten away with it too if it weren't for these meddling kids. And interesting, they didn't give it a score, and they didn't give it pros or cons, so apparently they misframed and misedited the page. The one play idea might be a problem, but so I might go in here and read the reviews a little bit more. But yeah, if you really can only play it once before you know the solution to like all the puzzles, that could be a problem. Even for a $20 board game, you want to be able to play it at least once a month or so. Moving on, Gamatsu has an article for the PS4. A gothic murder Unmei o Kaoru adventure is now available for the PS4 in Japan, which is a mystery visual novel. Looks like it might be an otome mystery visual novel. Let's see. And we really haven't... I really didn't get any games that came out on Steam. I wonder if the What's on Steam Twitter feed was just down. Because, yeah, we haven't talked about any visual novels on Steam. We haven't talked about any games on Steam. We may just have a rather long Friday experience talking about games, because I doubt there will be much more news. Gamatsu has an article. Metamorphosis launches August 12th, a first-person puzzle platformer for the PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. I've not seen anything about this. It seems like you play as somebody that like transforms into a bug. Let's see. I kind of feel like I've heard of a game where you play as something. I think I've heard about a game called Metamorphosis, but I've not seen a trailer like this. Ooh, would I want to play a game as a bug? It's a little weird, certainly. Like, I don't like insects, per se. I don't inherently hate them, but I like them just fine when they're outside of my house, but when they're in my house, I don't like them a lot. So, I'm not sure I'd really want to play a game where I was looking at an insect the whole time. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article. The Ryo's work is never done. Launches November 26th in Japan. It's a Intagram published shogi game, which shogi is the Japanese chess. It is also, I think, worth mentioning that you have a slightly different framing here that often happens between the PlayStation 4 and the Switch, which makes it seem like the PlayStation 4 is censoring something out when maybe they aren't actually intentionally censoring anything. They're just trying to keep the aspect ratio the same. Although I would argue the aspect ratio here is not the same. In fact, these are completely different images, because this girl here, this young girl, is over, her hand is just barely touching the bow, where in the Switch version she has been shifted far to the left. So there's like 3 images that have been layered on top of each other to solve it. But oddly, she is showing a knee here, that scantily clad knee, where on the PlayStation 4, where you would have had more room, they're not showing the knee. They've had to shift her downward, and you can see that again if you follow the line of this ear, this almost elf ear. The Nintendo Switch just takes up like the top left of the screen, leaving a lot of room, where the PlayStation 4 could shrink down its logo quite a bit and give the people of the game creators more space to show its images. And see, in this case, that's exactly what happened. You have a very smaller logo that's blue that matches with the background for this game. And is there anything else changed in this game? Not really. I mean, you still got anime girls, kind of in the moe art style, in bikinis, you know. Nothing super explicit or anything. But yeah. Unless, once again, like this image I think clips off at the same point in the top and the bottom, and this image seems to maybe clip a little bit on the right side, but that's about it. So there's a question as to like, why is the aspect ratio so different, and why is it a completely different image on this game when it seems like you can pretty much scale it up otherwise, if that really matters. At the core of it, we still all know that the PlayStation 4 is being fairly heavy on the censorship in a few cases. I did see that apparently there was a somewhat coordinated effort amongst the somewhat coordinated anime YouTubers, which I don't think there's too many of them, or that they have too much power, where they put out a video just saying, hey, quit kowtowing to the SJWs who are trying to shame women for having big breasts, or animators for animating women who have big breasts, and kind of just sticking there, drawing a line in the sand, and really pointing out that, yeah, those SJWs are literally, particularly in anime, like they're only coming to complain about anime to destroy anime. They have absolutely no love for it at all. And we've known that from the word go. I feel like video game people didn't catch on to that, or didn't realize that and a lot of mainstream video game journalists wore SJWs from the word go and hated video games from the word go. And yeah, that is a bit of propaganda, but it also seems abundantly clear in some cases, where those type of people probably shouldn't be tolerated in the video game critic industry, in the same way that a movie critic industry should not allow a movie critic that literally hates all movies and just hates the format of movies and hates motion pictures and is like obsessed with either pushing his own personal politics or obsessed with pushing and promoting books. Anyways, the Humble Bundle has the Best of Paradox Interactive, going on. So if you want Warlock, Master of Arcane, Age of Wonders 3, or Europa Universalis 4, that's $1. If you go up to $6.44 at the moment, you can get Stellaris, Victoria Collection, and Necropolis Brutal Edition. And if you pay the full $12, you'll get Tyranny and Battletech Digital Deluxe Edition. I don't know if I'd really want to get any of those. As far as other bundles going on, I don't think this Raw Fury bundle is one we haven't talked about before. See, for $1 you could get Kathy Rain, Torment, Ex-Punisher, Gunner, Blueberry. I do want Kathy Rain, but I don't know these other games. And then for $6.88 you get Whispers of a Machine, Kingdom New Lands Royal Edition, and Kingdom. And if you pay $12 you get Mosaic, Night Call, and Bad North. So this really is one of those bundles where, and if you pay $15 you get Kingdom 2 Crowns. This really is one where, sure, I could spend $1 to get this game and then I'd end up with 2 games that I didn't want, so I'd much more prefer somebody buy that bundle and just give me the code for that one game, Kathy Rain. And then there's a Daedalic game bundle. There's actually 3 game bundles happening right now. I think we've already talked about the Daedalic bundle: Night of the Rabbit, Fire, A Year of Rain, Cryfall, State of Mind, The Great Perhaps, and Air, Memories of Old. And then Eratus, The Suicide of Rachel Foster. I'd like this, but $15 is probably not worth it. The Pillars and Iron Dagger. Alright. So then that's going to bring me back to my Twitter feed. Which I think maybe we'll find what's on Steam and then I'll have a bunch of games on Friday to talk about. According to this, according to a tweet, Valve has recently made a change, made changing your country store more strict, which requires completing a purchase using a payment country from that country. This should hinder the ability of using VPNs to buy cheaper games. So, yeah, if you are actually VPNing into a different version of Valve to get a cheaper game in a different region, now that's harder to do. I don't think the average player was doing that, but there definitely seems like there's a lot of concern by game publishers that happens. I think that happens a lot less than people really care. The Fairy Tail game is almost out and they're getting they're promoting that. Twitch support had an issue where it was preventing people from making purchases, so they think they've almost fixed it. Let's see. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus is coming to PC this fall, which maybe I already own Disgaea 4. That would kind of suck. See, now would be a great time for people to put out remasters or like complete editions of their games, even if they didn't really ever plan on doing that. Like, get rid of a lot of the DLC as an option and instead release a complete version that costs just a little bit less than what it would have cost in the past to buy all the DLC. That way you can eliminate situations where somebody buys just the main game and then doesn't like it and doesn't buy the DLC, although at a certain point that would probably just lower your odds of sales in general. Let's see, there's more details coming out for Marvel Avengers. I don't really care. The full soundtrack for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 has been revealed according to OpenCritic. I don't really care about that either. I'm still scrolling down and I really am not seeing anything from what's on Steam. And there's something, almost certainly something should have been listed on Steam. Maybe I accidentally clicked a button and muted them. I did have a Twitter account that I had followed that wasn't showing me anything, and I imagine he was probably just not putting anything public. That would have been my guess. Alright. So I'm gonna search, and I'm gonna type in what's on Steam. Yeah. Yeah, by the looks of it, there's this cyberpunk future parkour game, which doesn't need to be really considered. They came out 21 hours ago. Brick building. And see, so this is kind of a combination of, I haven't been checking my Steam account that much, and yeah, what's on Steam has really not tweeted anything, which is to say their little automation engine is messed up again. It's an experimental bot, to say the least. Let's see. We could check out micro trailers and see if micro trailers has anything different. Nope. Seems like it's probably on Steam's side. So, since that is my only source for new games on Steam, I could go to Steam's main page and just look at new games that have been published, but it's kind of pointless to look, even. So, this is as good of a point as any to wrap up this stream, and I've just constantly got more and more things to do, but at least consistently now we're getting this done in less than 3 hours, or just about 3 hours. So I've got daily practice main story victories I need to do. I probably need to do those fairly quickly, and then I need to think about how I'm going to get these win 3 matches in unranked or ranked, or if I'm actually going to get that done. I kind of feel like I would prefer to be able to re-roll this and just have another thing that would just give me some small pittance of gold. But yeah. Busy, busy, busy. Thanks to Level by Level Gaming for talking to me. And thanks for watching if you just watched. That's going to be it for this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card, or you can click on the link down below to Patreon. Thank you for